Good afternoon and welcome back to another pre-match show ahead of this afternoon's game against Sutton United. Matt Taylor and his side are currently unbeaten in 6 games in all competitions and could make it an unbeaten month here today against Sutton if they can pick up a point or all 3. The home side are in pretty good form, having won 4 of their last 5 games at home, but Matt Taylor's side are high on confidence and will be hoping to end that run. Ahead of the 3 o'clock kickoff, we are going to hear from the head coach with his thoughts ahead of today's game, with an interview that he did with my colleague Paul Joannou earlier this week. We're also going to hear the thoughts of defender Stephen Ward ahead of today's game. The Saddlers are going to be backed by well over 500 fans, and as always, we cannot thank you enough for your support on the road so far this season. As well as hearing from Matt Taylor and Stephen Ward, we're also going to get Carl Rushworth's ultimate 5-a-side team, and let me tell you, there are no surprises as to who he has in goal. Before we hear from everybody though, I'd like to remind you that the young Saddlers side, the under-18s, are in action at the Banksy Stadium on Monday against Port Vale in the first round of the FA Youth Cup. Tickets are available to buy on the day, so we hope to see as many of you here as possible. So, ahead of today's game, we're now going to hear the thoughts of head coach Matt Taylor.
And of course, attention now turns to Saturday's game away at Sutton United. First of all, what do you make of them? Because they've made a good start to the season and life in the EFL, haven't they?
They've made a really good start. They've got 23 points, they're sitting 6th in the league, and they're sitting, I think, in the position that they are is because they've got a very settled squad. They've got a very, I like the way that they go about their business. They work extremely hard. They have a very clear identity of the way they play, and they've been together a while as a group. So it's no surprise to me whatsoever that they're where they are in the league table now. That poses a huge challenge for us, and it's going to be a difficult game. Every game is. I know that sometimes I sound like a broken record because I say that every week, but I look at this as an opportunity for us to continue building momentum at the football club. If we're going to get anything from the game on Saturday, one thing I am 100% sure of is that we must match Sutton's effort, because what they do is they work tirelessly for each other. You can see that there's bonds within the group of players that they have, and they all know what they're doing, and they've been well coached. So it's going to be a tough game for us. They're a team that have responded well to a disappointing result of the weekend by winning on Tuesday night away at Colchester. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the fixture. It'll be a new ground for me. I'm sure it'll be a new ground for some of the players, but one we need to approach with confidence.
As you say, they're a new ground, having come up from the National League, and when you look at recent history of teams, I think particularly in the last decade, they tend to do really well in their first season. It's been a very long time, I think, since a team's gone straight back down. Why do you think that is? Do you think it's just the momentum that they have from that promotion, or is there a lot more to it than that?
I think, when you look at, say you pick the National League to the Football League, when you look at the Championship to the Premier League, lots of teams, they all talk about this second season syndrome. I think part of the reason they do is because when you are a new team and you go into the division and the opponents haven't played against you, maybe it takes them longer to work out your style. But it's no surprise to me that Sutton have come up and they're faring really well and are in the playoff positions this year. They've got some really good footballers. I like how strong and resolute they are in defence, but they've got powerful players with lots of ability in the attacking areas. So we will be fully respecting the opposition, and knowing that if we are going to go and get anything out of that game, we have to be at our best.
So those were the thoughts of head coach Matt Taylor ahead of today's 3 o'clock kickoff against Sutton. Next up, we're going to be hearing from defender Stephen Ward from his pre-match press conference earlier this week.
You mentioned that the team are on a good run of form. I think it's 6 unbeaten in all competition. That's no mean feat in any division, is it? Because it's a very tough division we're in Sky Bet League 2, so it's about building that and just getting over the line with the 3 points, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think if we can back these last couple of results up in the next few weeks, you know, they can look like decent points in the end, because it's all about continuing that sort of unbeaten streak, you know, taking the points away, getting closer to them playoffs, and you know, we'll look to keep doing that. I think at the minute, as you said, I think we've 8 points in the last 4 league games, which is no mean feat in this league. It's a very tough league. You can see the results every weekend. A lot of draws, a lot of teams take points off each other. So we just need to keep ticking over. You know, like I said, it was disappointing not to have back-to-back wins, but you know, you have to take your medicine, take your point, and move on, and keep building towards what we're looking to do.
When you look at 2 of the last 3 games, Leighton Orient and Barrow, you could say the team had plenty of chances, and if a few more of those went in, it could have been a different story. But we saw the other side at Oldham, didn't we, where the team were ruthless when perhaps they didn't have as many chances. In your experience, in your career, how do you develop that consistently?
I think the most important thing is we are creating chances. I think you know, first and foremost, there's always a worry if you're not creating chances. So, you know, we have plenty of confidence in the lads up that end of the pitch. We see it every day in training, how lethal they can be. And, you know, I also feel like we haven't maybe had that little bit of luck in front of goal. You know, we're getting in some great areas, putting balls across blocks, and to be fair, teams have defended them well, or we've just not had the look at the bounce of a ball either. So I think, like I said, it's important we're creating them. That's one thing that we're doing. We've got to tighten up still a bit more at the back. You know, we can't be conceding late. We're really disappointed on Saturday to do that. You know, from you know, a game that we were really in control in. So you know, both ends of the pitch we can tidy up, and I think in general, you know, our play and our performances have probably, you know, merited more points than what we have. But in this game, you know, you don't always get what you deserve, and we just need to keep, you know, within this process. We all believe in the process. We all know where we want to go. It's a long season. You know, you can hit a hot vein of form at any time, and at the minute we're, like you said, we're 6 unbeaten. We've got to keep that going.
We hope to keep that run going against Sutton United on Saturday. They're a team who've come up from the National League and look like they've acquitted themselves really well, sitting in 6th position. What do you make of them and the challenge they'll bring? Yeah,
I think, listen, obviously they've come up buoyant, getting promotion last year, I think it was. So yeah, they've started really well. It's up to us to go there and impose our game. I think, you know, what's important with us, the manager tries to get across, is that we first and foremost concentrate on ourselves and get to our level of performance. And if we do that, you know, you hope the result takes care of itself. But we'll respect them as we do every team in this league. We know there's no easy games, and especially away from home. You know, every game's a tough game. So, you know, we'll respect them, of course, but we have to get to the level that we know we can play at, and that gives us the best chance of getting a result.
So there we have it then. That is our pre-match build-up ahead of this afternoon's 3 o'clock kickoff against Sutton United, where Matt Taylor and his side will be backed by well over 500 Saddlers fans. Next up, we are going to hear from goalkeeper Carl Rushworth, and this is his ultimate 5-a-side team.
Well, Carl, thanks for joining us. You're going to pick your ideal dream 5-a-side team. Let's start with the goalkeeper. Who are you going with?
Yeah, I've got to go with myself, really. Yeah, I think that in the 5-a-side pitch, I'll back myself. And then centre back, I'm going to go with Van Dijk. Just solid overall, and you know, he's got the technical ability for a 5-a-side game. 2 midfielders, I'm going to have to go with Bernardo Silva, just because of his just technical ability and how good he is at dribbling, and De Bruyne, just to find the passes. It's lethal, this team, and then up front, Messi. It's got to be, just because he's Messi at the end of the day.
Want to pick a manager as well?
I'll be player manager. I'll be player manager. I'll control it all.
2 roles for Carl Rushworth.
Yeah, they all be looking up to me.
So there we have it then. That is Carl Rushworth's ultimate 5-a-side team. Let us know in the comment section on this YouTube video what you think of his team. As always, the last thing for me to say is a massive thank you to everybody who has travelled down to today's game. We hope you have a fantastic day in Sutton, and as always, thank you for your support. And finally, come on you Saddlers.